What's going on, everybody? This is kind of an emergency meeting, emergency live that we're doing because there is a lot of active talk about Lukaku and Dusan getting the old swapperoonie with some dollar bills in it. I called Dave and I said, I think we needed to talk. And unfortunately, I am a terrible human being because Dave hasn't fully recovered, but Dave's voice is partially back. So, Dave, how are you?
Dash is way too excited for whatever's going on right now.
I know.
I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're all just going to go to bed like every other night. But Dash thinks it's like Sky Sports is reporting, like it's happening.
Well, the thing is like, I think if we look at the details that's going on right now, and he's not sleeping on his keyboard. Hey. But the thing is like, I think we need to just kind of break down the context and just kind of go over what's going on because Twitter's absolutely on fire and people are losing their damn minds. So, obviously, Juntali is in London. He went to London, left the U.S. tour, and what's up, Yellow Hat and Dash?
Oh man, that's funny.
So he's in London, and originally Chelsea had the door shut on any interest in Vlahovic, which a lot of clubs have had. But apparently, going off of an interview that good old Pochi said a couple days ago, we're looking at all options for strikers, and he's one of them. So the negotiations opened up. Originally, it was a swap plus some cash, and then Chelsea and Juve apparently are saying that that's not feasible. Due to misvaluation. So it's going to be almost like a Pjanic and Artur deal in a sense, where it's two separate transactions.
And that one was great. That was great for us.
I know that last time we did something like that, it was fantastic.
Oh man, we're still paying for that one.
So I think the main thing, and I have Twitter open up here, as you guys can see. So we're here if anything breaks. I'll zoom in so you folks can see stuff.
Let's see all your naughty tweets.
My naughty tweets, my nudes. Because do people still slide in Twitter DMs? I thought it was a Instagram thing. But we're waiting to see if there's any news that's going to break. Nothing's broken so far. They are in negotiations. The reason why I thought it'd be cool if we did an emergency meeting, because if something breaks, it's going to happen tonight. If it doesn't happen tonight, you can kiss the Lukaku Dusan deal goodbye. Because today, I think so. It's one of those things
I don't think it was ever alive. I think like tentatively it's alive. Like, okay, let's talk about it. It's a big deal. So yes, it makes news. And they probably have their little crumpets there in London at high tea, whatever the hell English people do. And they talk about, what do you think about this Lukaku Vlahovic swap? Shall we do this?
What is a Vlahovic? Is that something you run through your hair?
Oh no! He's rubbish. Let's move on. They eat their crumpet, and that's what's going on. They're eating crumpets.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, see if I can find some here, but like I have never seen so many Chelsea fans hate Vlahovic. And I'm like, you guys don't even have the player. Like I'm dead serious. I spoke with some Chelsea, so I was going to do a video on it, but thanks Lukaku. But I was a witness of Crystal Palace and Sevilla yesterday. It was actually a good game to go to. My only thing that I found ironic is there was a shit ton of Barcelona jerseys at a Sevilla game, which I thought was kind of ironic, and a shit ton of Chelsea jerseys at a Crystal Palace game.
Unless to see a La Liga game, I guess. One of their rivals.
Yes, but why would you
represent?
Yeah, I guess
it's North America, man. That's what happens.
We give football a bad name. That's all I'm going to say. But I understand the Chelsea folk because they were looking at Eze, and I really liked Eze. Eze is an absolute beast. I got a goal on my phone that he absolutely sauced an entire defense, but I will make that for a separate video. But I spoke with some Chelsea folks at the game, and I was, I kind of hate it because I spoke it into existence, but I was like, if we were to give you Dusan for Lukaku, would you do it? Because I just wanted to gauge. Honestly, I just wanted to gauge interest. So if this deal happens, it's my fault. I spoke it as the oracle. I spoke into existence. But all of them said that Dusan is trash. And I'm like, have you watched him? Nope. I'm like, then how do you know he's garbage?
Because that's probably what that English guy on Sky Sports told him.
It's the Premier League. It's the Premier League bubble.
That dude, probably that dude that we made fun of months back. Like, that Dusan guy, he's rubbish. Where's my crumpet? Dear, give me my crumpet.
Well, the thing is like, what I thought was interesting is because I was like, okay, so what would you rate him in your striker pecking order? Because they have Jackson, Broya, and Lukaku currently. They're like, yeah, he would be like third choice. And I was like, huh? Seriously? So if you go on Twitter, none of the Chelsea folk want Dusan and none of them want Lukaku. So I actually had this conversation with Inconvenient Truth on Twitter, which is Chris, and still no news yet, folks. But
well, there's more of the same news, this time from Nicola Shira, just confirming the 35 mil on top. We should mention that it's going to be 35 mil coming this way.
So
that's a lot. I think
this is actually a Chelsea page that I followed, and like all of them were dunking on Dusan. It's CFC PYS, but let's see if I can find some of the comments. But the thing is like for me, if I were to see, look at this. So this is like everyone's opinion on Dusan. I no longer recognize my club. If you look at like a Juve post, it's the same thing, but it's instead of Drogba, it's Del Piero saying, I no longer recognize my club. I have never seen two fan bases subsequently hate a transfer. Like I have never seen that in my life.
It is the X crowd though. The X crowd.
Yeah, 80 million, leave it. And then they're like,
I mean, instead. I think Chelsea would be the losers in this one, but they have to get rid of. That's the problem. They have to get rid of Lukaku, and we don't have to get rid of Vlahovic.
So the thing is like in context, to give you guys context about it, is so Lukaku pissed off Chelsea with the interview, got loaned to Inter. And Chelsea were hoping that that essentially Inter would buy out Lukaku, but then Juve kind of decided to throw a wrench in their plans by negotiating with Lukaku. And guys, when I tell you Chelsea despises, like the club Chelsea despises Lukaku, like they despise the man. Like I am dead serious.
There's actually been so many videos on Lukaku as well of people just tackling how he's basically become a pariah. Doesn't matter who you look at. His only saving grace right now is Juve, and he doesn't want to do it apparently, but Saudi.
The thing is like, if we were to get a net positive of 50 million out of this entire thing, which we won't, that is the only time I would greenlight this deal.
Because plus 50, that's including like a plus 15 with bonuses, I think.
Well, the thing is I wouldn't expect much because knowing Chelsea and Juve, they're going to make some of the stupidest bonuses, so they're not even possible to happen. But like again, it's interesting because like you look at it and it's literally all of what Chelsea fans are saying. Like Juve's milking us. This is weird. Why is there that? Can Lukaku reject the move? 80 what? 75, 80? I was thinking 20 million. Now that's plus 30. Do it. Vlahovic has resale value. Okay, this guy has some sense. But yeah,
but everyone's just like, no. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I've never seen. I don't know. Like I'm legitimately shocked because I thought like Chelsea people would be thrilled, but I guess not.
Now the question is, are Chelsea fans ever happy?
Are they real or are they just paid out human beings?
Oh, I'm sure there's some real blokes out there, the one you see down at the pub smashing pints on a Wednesday night. The old ones, the ones that hate their wives. But yeah, I don't know. You always have those big city clubs, especially in London. I mean, how do you choose? How do you even choose a team in London anymore, right? Like, what does that even mean? It's all just 15. So corporate.
It's like 15 teams in London.
Yeah, it was, especially when we're talking about the big ones like Chelsea, Man U, probably more so than City more recently, of course. I don't know. It's all trash. Probably not a lot of real fans, but you can say that about Juve as well, right? Because of this whole big corporate push the Ronaldo effect, all that stuff. We see it. We see it on our own team as well, right? So that's what you see on X, Twitter, the Twitter X.
Yeah. So this is a conversation I had with Chris about this earlier today. It's on Twitter, so you guys can see it on Twitter as well. So Chris kind of talks about saying, I believe there's no validity or validity to the potential Vlahovic-Lukaku swap of any sort. Certainly, if there was, it would involve money returning to Juve. Either way, it's a horror show outcome if it were to materialize, short-sighted and a gross undervaluation of Dusan, which he's not wrong about that. He's true about that. And then I kind of cheekily responded with a makes me wonder how bad the Poblaja injury actually is. And then because the thing is like, and when you're looking at an injury like that, it's one of those injuries where you come back out of it or you don't, because it's a nagging injury that you'll get as far as what goes on, because soft tissue injuries are the worst injuries you could possibly get.
And Silas is asking if I'm still sick. Yeah, I am. It's still lingering. It's still there. I'm trying to kick this baby. So many fluids.
That's what she said. So,
oh man,
kind of, let me share it with you guys. I'll show you what this injury is and what it does.
You're showing us a Poblaja, eh? That's spicy.
Poblaja.
This is gonna get X-rated real quick.
Wow. So we'll go to the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. So, sports hernia, that's pretty much what it is. Soft tissue injury that occurs in the groin area. So Dusan has been doing the Thrustmaster 9000 a lot. No, I'm just kidding. So the thing is it usually happens when you require sudden changes of direction or intense twisting movements, obviously in his position. So they haven't really released what kind of hernia Dusan has. They just said it's a Poblaja. Really? Thanks, J Medical. So there's two versions of it. The inguinal hernia, or the most common type of groin hernia, when the abdominal tissue, such as part of the intestine, pushes through the opening. Nah, that's not what he got. This one, sports hernia, strain or tear in any soft tissue in the muscle, tendon, ligament area in the lower abdomen or groin area. So pretty much right here, that's where he's injured it. And the problem is when you're a striker, you need to open up your hips to shoot said ball. And if you have a groin injury, you cannot open up said hips. You can't open it up for the pitch, nor for your girlfriend, unfortunately. Darn. So obviously saying sports activities that cause this injury involve planting the feet or twisting maximum effort can cause a tear in the soft tissue. Symptoms, obviously, severe pain in the area by the time usually gets better with rest, but when you come back and return, twisting moments might cause issues with it. So obviously this is imaging tests and all that fun stuff. So non-surgical treatment, rest 7 to 10 days if you're good. Clearly that hasn't worked with him, unfortunately. In any cases, 4 to 6 weeks of physical therapy. I doubt that's worked as well because it's been 12 months. So this is not, your minor groin strain. I think this is a lot more serious. There's surgical treatment, which I don't believe we've heard of anything of that. But again, not a fun injury, folks. Not fun at all. So my thing is like, it kind of makes me wonder, because what was the question that you and I had earlier on the summer? Why does nobody want this guy? Originally, in theory, he wasn't the main the main go-to guy.
No, and then the Saudi thing happened. So now all of a sudden there's a real shortage. There's, Mbappe, but that's probably just Madrid.
Yeah, and again, it's like, for example, Bayern was looking at him but never really wanted to. So, and this was the kind of conversation I had with Chris, and I'm like saying, I wonder if this injury is a lot more worse than it's actually being made out to be.
And Bayern would have never, they're a lot smarter with their money than most clubs of that stature, right?
Yep.
So they would have never gone for Vlahovic. I think, if it's 60 mil, I think they probably would have. That's what they were offering. I think that is fair. That is probably a fair price for him. But unfortunately, we need more, and we're trying to drum up a bit of a bidding war or some sort of desperation. The dark arts, right? We're going back to the dark arts with this one. So if they pull it off,
again, if you're able to pull off this swap and get a plus 50 million bonus with that, that's a win. Chelsea fans are going to be pissed, but fuck them. Don't really care. But at the end of the day, it's part of me is wondering because, like, for example, again, if this injury to Dusan is as bad as it could be, it also shows how desperate Chelsea is to offload Lukaku.
Are they of the most desperation? Like they're
Because
at
it's
that
like,
point.
again, you're willing to take an unfit Dusan just to get Lukaku out. So again, that begs the question there. So that's why it's one of those really weird deals that it just makes no sense to me. Because it's
Now,
like,
the thing is, though, is there's a lot more squad depth at Chelsea, so I think that would perhaps help if he's recoverable.
yeah,
Maybe.
and then I understand Chelsea fans saying no because there's no way in hell Dusan's going to start over Jackson. Jackson has absolutely been lighting it up for Chelsea. He's their new striker that they brought in recently.
Well, no, that's the thing. He'll be the
Yeah.
number 2, right? That's what I'm trying to say. He most likely, especially with his recent form.
The 2 or the 3, because it depends if Broya comes back and gets back into form. Him and Dusan are going to be fighting for that 2 and 3 spot.
Yep. So, and maybe that's what Vlahovic needs. Maybe he's not ready to be the number 1 at a top team. He's ready to be a number 2 or 3 at Chelsea because, I mean, just it's Chelsea, right? Oh, the London team. I guess being a number 2 in a London team's being a number 1 at Juventus, perhaps. I don't know. Or maybe we're just speculating. Maybe he doesn't really want to leave, but if he's getting sort of forced out, this is an option that he's obviously going to be okay with because he's going to get more exposure. He will. Let's not kid ourselves. He's going to get way more exposure at Chelsea.
Yeah. And reasons why Chelsea fans are not excited about Dusan is because they've pretty much got their own Dusan. And what is this? Nicholas Jackson. So this is the guy that's been absolutely tearing it up for Chelsea in the summer tour, and Chelsea did win the summer tour. But I believe he was at Villarreal prior to the transfer. So they brought him in, 37 million. La Liga. It's kind of interesting because he didn't really score that much. Because he played 34 matches at La Liga, scored 12.
Contract till 2031. Wow, they locked him in.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
Pochettino and Chelsea are really high on this guy. I think he's good from what I've seen. So he's a very dynamic striker. He's not like a Lukaku that's just a 9. He kind of plays as a center forward or a 10 in a sense because it's just like he can build up play. He's fast. He's strong. There's a lot that he can offer. And that's why a lot of Chelsea fans are kind of like, why is Dusan even being mentioned? Because for them, it just makes no sense. But he's the guy. And then, like, for example, you also have this guy that's coming back from injury as well, who prior to his injury was doing quite well with Chelsea. So
Trev is just making calls for Albanians here. Come on.
So yeah, his so when he was with Chelsea, I believe if I can find his stats here because I'm working on the fly here. But he did have a really good strong start to the season, and then he tore his ACL. So we'll see how he comes back from that. But yeah, that striker room is gonna be pretty congested at Chelsea. So
Hey, Dash,
yes,
answer this question. Who is on your away shirts?
which ones? I don't have any.
Do you not? I didn't think you did because I don't either.
I only have home. I got Ronaldo up here, so here I'll entertain you. Got
He's
Ronaldo up
entertaining
there.
us.
That's Platini, and then you have David's in the bottom corner.
And the display case that you'll see in every like Balkan / Southern Mediterranean home.
Yes, yes. You'll see my China cabinet. I have no idea where to move it. It is there.
It's so big. It lives there for decades. And it slowly gets like new trinkets, especially when you have to go to a wedding and you get those little, those gifts, the stupid little gifts, and then you have to put them places. Is that a thing for you Albanians, or is that just
Probably.
a complete like Italian thing to do?
Oh, no, pretty similar to Italian stuff.
All right, some more news. Let's see.
Once an Albanian is a Juventino. I do too. We had one, but he tore his ACL. Veroni. send him over to the MLS.
Okay, this is news that just came in. Sky Sports, Luca Marchetti. If we care, because this is pretty much official here with Facundo. Now, Hellas Verona and Salernitana are already looking to loan him out. So, bam, maybe he is getting loaned out right away. Already getting looks.
I saw the Christian Romero jokes about him.
Alex Sandro. What about Alexandro? We want to get rid of him as well. He's still on the Bucks. We're hoping for Saudi. I don't know. Nobody really knows. He's just kind of hanging out for now. He's on the team, just like McKennie, just hanging out.
Yeah, so DiMarzo is saying right now, here, let me open up the Twitter feed. Just kidding.
Okay,
So-
this just came in. Gianluigi Longardi. To conclude the Vlahovic-Lukaku exchange, Juventus won an economic adjustment of at least 50 mil.
Told it. Called it.
This is way too much.
I called it.
That's bold.
That is why I am very good at what I do. DiMarzo saying, Chelsea understood the only way to get rid of Lukaku was to accept Dusan in the deal. So like I said earlier, they're willing to take Dusan, but there is no agreement.
All right, more random questions. Which player would you like to transfer to Juve if you could choose?
Balogun or Jonathan David?
In range of budget. Yeah, I knew you were going to say David. That's actually a really good question. Who I would go for at this moment within a budget? No, I wouldn't want any of those kinds of guys. Like I would have liked Samardich, which looks like he's going to Inter now. Like that would have been a decent pickup. I mean, we flirted with a Doji there for a couple transfer seasons. That would have been nice. I know that's kind of like something that sailed away now. Who else? Who else would be a good one? I'm thinking like economic. Not like let's go get Mbappe, of course, because that's just ridiculous. Jonathan David would be a decent one, but I think he's too expensive for what they're asking for.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
That's interesting.
Because they want 60. I think 50 is probably a bit more appropriate. 60 is a lot. 60 is basically saying you're in like top 10 territory.
That's interesting.
I think like once you get to that 60, 70 mil range, because Vlahovic is supposed to be top 10 territory, if you will, right? Whether he's actually performing at that or not, he's got that like ability to perform at that stage, like in any given season, is kind of what I'm getting at, right? And Bayern offered 60 for Vlahovic. So Jonathan David at 60. I think he's less proven.
Really? Is he though? Because Dusan really only had a good 6 months.
Yeah, and the French league is kind of not great.
Yeah, well,
it's hard to say. I don't know. I don't want to say one way or the other, but it's like they're both rated 60. So are you saying they're both rated? They must both be at that top 10, maybe top 15 if you want to stretch it a bit, you know? They're supposed to be top strikers. I don't know. Am I crazy? Okay, so Silas is saying left back. Julian Alvarez. Okay, that's a good one. I like that.
Okay.
For left back. Well, that would have been a Doji, I think.
Yeah, left back.
I mean, really, Alphonso Davies, because I'm Canadian, and I'd simp on that. But I also realize the cost would be outrageous on that as well, and not worth it.
All right. See, so this was an interesting tweet as I was scrolling. Average Caves Enjoyer says this club literally has no direction or an actual project. Selling the player you want to build around 23 for a 30-year-old wash dude is so brain dead it's not even funny. The money won't even help with much either. So let me say this. We're not building the team around a single player. Like, sorry, dude. Juve don't roll that way. Juve never rolled that way.
Well, they did, and that was what our downfall was the Ronaldo era, right? Exactly. So we're trying to revert our transgressions.
So, look, I'm just saying that like the average Juve fan on Twitter is like 15 years old or X. Keep forgetting to call it X. Because it's just like you look at it and it's just like, well, this is a brain dead move. It's like the financials is a brain dead move, but no one Dusan being the project doesn't exist anymore.
And we have a 23-year-old in Moisey
Yeah. And you have
who looks better at this point. Let's be honest.
he does. And then you also have Chiesa as well. Like you have multiple pieces. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
if I was Federico Chiesa and I found out that the club is building around Dusan and not me, I would be like, what the hell? It's honest. Like in all honesty, like I would be pissed. I'm like, why the hell is this guy getting the team built around? Why not me?
And let's look at this too. Let's look at a different perspective with this Chelsea deal. So if we sell Moisey at the most, would get 35 for him. I think that's generous. A good like 30 mil Moisey goes for. Chiesa, apparently he's only worth about 50. At this point, I would say Moisey and Chiesa are working at a better rate currently. They perform better, and they still are both super young that they have that potential, especially Moisey's a couple years younger, same age as Dusan, essentially, right? Chiesa being a couple years older, but regardless, still young, still a lot of potential, and they're currently operating at a much better rate. But for whatever reason, the market dictates that Moisey's 30, Chiesa's 50. That's 80 mil. If for whatever reason we make a deal with Chelsea that equates Dusan to that 70 to 80 mil range, and we get a veteran striker at the same time that we can just slot in, that we know will at least produce some goals. Don't get me wrong, I'm not super excited over Lukaku. He's never the name I would have chosen. But from a business standpoint, this might actually be a masterstroke if it comes through.
Yeah, if it's with that validation that you and I are talking about, like I don't see why not. Because let me see if I can find it. There was a there we go. This is the image that I want to share. Okay, cool. So this is currently our highest earners in the squad,
and that's a problem.
He has not performed, and he has the highest wage.
That whole list, other than maybe Tech, is a problem.
Exactly. And you're stuck with Dusan for another 3 years.
And well. Lukaku's going to cost you 8, allegedly.
And this is gross, so this isn't the net pay, but it's roughly the same as Dusan.
But yeah, that's true. I hate how they always switch it up.
Yeah, I know they do that stupid stuff, but like for example, Bonucci's going to sit on the bench and make 12. That to me baffles me.
Yeah, if Lukaku comes to Juve and flops, the fans are going to eat him alive. Yeah,
which is fine. You're a professional.
They'll do that to literally any player. If Timothy Weah flops, they will eat him alive.
Yeah, they will. Because we're We're fickle. I said sickle. Wow. We're fickle fans.
Well, they might be holding sickles, going for the throat.
Touche. But we're fickle fans, guys. I mean, it's honest. Like the only player I've actually seen defended from a transfer is Dusan. Every other player that we've brought in, if he did not perform, everyone cooked him alive.
Yeah. So David's saying, for me at this point, this is not about will Dusan work for us or not. We have to get rid of the toxicity and immaturity around him. The only thing we need to prioritize is to get the most money we can. Unfortunately, every time I see toxicity, I just think of that System of a Down song. And I just like started singing in my head. That's why I stumbled there. I'm sorry. But yes, David, that's a thing for the locker room. What's the locker room looking like? Is there the cohesion? Is there the teamwork? Or those big personalities? You can say Pogba, right? That big personality. Are we going back to the old school Grinta? Do we want to get rid of those guys? It's maybe. I think that's what Allegri and Gentoli really want. You look at what Gentoli built at Napoli. There wasn't really. I mean, they got rid of Insigne at the end there.
They did.
I mean, that was
Insigne, Dres Mertens.
Born from the streets of Naples, though, was Insigne. Like Dries Mertens, sure. I mean, still a legend for that club. But he wasn't born in Naples, right? Like, you never get that homegrown captain like that. And man, they sent him on his way because he was asking too much and he was being a prima donna. So, I mean, if Gentoli did that to insinuate Napoli, why would he not do it to any of these guys?
He did it to Bonucci. He walked in. He's like, "Hey, man, you're done.
Did
You're
to
out.
Bonucci. See, we
You're
might
out."
still have to pay him. We'll see what happens, but he's not playing.
Yeah, he's not. Gentoli's not messing around here, folks. If Gentoli thinks you need to go, you need to go.
It's business, and our club, at least at this point, that's what we need.
I think us as a collective fan base need to go back to what Juventus was.
Gotta go back, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, not about this tribalism of a player, but like more so as the club as a whole. Because you've heard, Colin has said it, Davis said it, Misaka said it. I don't give a damn about what player comes and goes because Juventus is forever. And this whole like this really weird love fixation on Dusan, like that's one of the reasons why I can't wait until he's gone. Just so we can it's almost like it's like Ronaldo fanboys all over again. Because like you have those Ronaldo fanboys, I only watch your content or I only listen to your stuff. Because I remember they used to do it to Beppe back then. They're like, Beppe, we only watch you because of Ronaldo, and when he leaves, we're unsubscribing. Like, okay, go leave.
Yeah, it's fairly petty.
Adios. And that's the same thing how I feel about Dusan. But look, you look at that wage structure. At one point, you hope that the highest earner that's there is Szczesny, but even then, I think Bayern Munich are looking at him.
Well, he's got another season after this. It's 25. He's over.
Yep.
So he's coming up. If we want to get the money from him, it's going to make sense to get it this year rather than next year because there'll be less. Even now, it's not a ton of money, really, right?
I wanna side with Super Jack Dave here, where he said, and this is him saying it about Lukaku. And guys, Dave, not my Dave, but Dave Elatok. Or Formula One. No, you both like Formula One. There's so many Daves.
German Dave. German Dave.
Is he German Dave is saying. And the thing is like, you can hate Lukaku all you want, but you at least got to call your balls and strikes here. And Dave does a fantastic job by doing that, by saying he can get us at least 10 goals and maybe 10 assists. And that's more production than we've ever had, or that we've ever had last season with a striker, which he's not wrong. Because the thing is like, the way that I see it, and this is me looking at it from a silver lining perspective, if Lukaku does come to Juve, Moise Keane's going to thrive.
I think he will because he'll have Big Rom there holding up the play, and then Keane is just going to slot through the holes, find some space.
Yeah, I think, for example, looking at it from an objective take, he will help Chiesa and Moise find more space, a lot more than what Dusan will. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of revolving factors that go around it. And it's just, you got to be honest with it where you look at it from that perspective where you're like, okay, looking at the player builds, yes, one's older. Yes, you can argue that he's washed because, again, if I've called him washed for a while and I can't just flip the script now that he's coming to us, but there's still some capabilities that he can offer. The thing is,
there's a lot of bias. Let's be honest. Too.
Yeah,
there is.
To hate him. We wanted to hate him, but it kind of goes to show you how bad and how underperforming Dusan has been for us. That we're sitting there and it's just like,
when Lukaku looks better, that's how bad Dusan's done.
That's the issue, is just how much he's underperformed, and like, I'm sorry, but like. I ran into a couple of Juventinos at the game yesterday, and they're like, man, I just use Allegri as my scapegoat for when the players do bad. And I'm kind of like, well, you can't. There's a fallacy in that argument. Because, like, for example, let's use the Milan game, okay? Chiesa looks like he's in the best shape of his life.
He looked good.
I thought Allegri destroyed him. Right?
So that's a rebound. It was the rebound year, though, and it really looked like it. It looked like a rebound year.
Yeah, exactly. Because you and I said the entire time, we said don't expect him to do anything crazy last season.
We
not?
wanted it. We got frustrated because he didn't.
Yeah.
We had unrealistic expectations despite the warnings.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is like, for example, yeah, you look at the Milan game, it's almost like the same Chiesa of old. The Chiesa that was running at people, dribbling, creating chances, opportunities. So it's like, the thing is like, I want to take us out of that stigma where we're throwing any poor player performance on Allegri. Like, to me, that irritates the hell out of me, because it's like, it's just petty. You're just looking for stuff. And
It's
so,
easier to blame a coach. That's why coaches get fired, right? You can't fire the whole team, so you fire the coach instead. Sort of that mentality.
yeah. So Jeff is asking, honestly, who's to blame for Dusan's performance? Allegri or Dusan? So my thing is this. So this is kind of like a complex situation. I blame Dusan for not being capable to read where balls and movements are coming from, being late to the ball, not anticipating what post to go to, not being able to utilize his right foot, not being able to understand how to do hold up and basics of hold up play to be a complete striker, not a half striker. Because we paid 80 million for a striker that can only use his left foot. So, like, do we have to pay another 80 million for the right foot patch? Is that what it is? Expansion pass here. But the thing is this is where Allegri kind of flopped as a coach when it comes to Dusan. Allegri's attacks were way too one-dimensional. Some can say he didn't have the correct options, which, you can agree with that or not. But, like, for example, when you get to the point where all of your gameplay is throwing it to cross stitch and praying, it gets fought out. It gets fine. It gets discovered quite quickly. However, there are some players that were able to step up and readjust. Like, for example, Gattone was being able to clean up loose balls in the box. Rabiot cleaning up loose balls in the box. My thing is like, the issue with Dusan is the fact that he kind of is a prima donna in a sense, where it's like, you even watch him in the summer tour, where dude should be resting or should be focusing on other things. Dude's goofing off with Pogba. And it's like, the irony of it is everyone's criticizing Pogba for doing X, Y, and Z, but then Dusan does the same thing and he's protected. It's like, oh, he's just having fun. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. But like, look, he's 22 years old. Price tag went to his head. Like, I think that's just being honest with it.
Yeah, and again, I guess more so add on to that, and that yes, you blame Allegri in the sense he's a bit one-dimensional. He wants a big striker up front to hold up the play. Vlahovic, by his stature, should have done that for Allegri. So yes, it was one-dimensional, but Vlahovic never really lived up to what he was supposed to do in that role. So you blame both, essentially. I don't know if you want to do like 60-40, 70-30, whatever. You can't say. But regardless, in any relationship, if one person tries to work harder, then, I mean, if that relationship's mutual, then typically it starts evening out and you get that buy-in. So maybe that's what we ended up with, is a lack of buy-in from Vlahovic. That could be part of his maturity. He just doesn't want to listen to the old guy. I don't know. Again, I'm just spitballing. It could be so many different things. Fact of the matter is, we saw the numbers. That's what we go by. The numbers weren't great, and we paid too much and are paying him too much for those numbers.
Yeah, and the thing is like, a lot of folks forget that Dusan, when he signed the contract and he accepted the terms, he knew Allegri was going to be the coach. So, like, he came into this knowing what's going on. Unfortunately, it just blew up in his face and it didn't work out for him. But he could have gone to Arsenal. He didn't. He wanted to go to Juve. And don't start with this, he was a true Juventino and he loved Juve bullshit. Every player that comes into Juve is going to say, oh, yeah, I was a fan when I was a kid. Everybody says that. But look, it's things like that. And then, so Jeff is saying, I feel like Allegri can't coach strikers worth crap, even Higuain regressed. So I'm going to dissect this. Sarri ran their entire offense through Higuain. If Higuain did not play, Napoli did not win. Everything was revolving around Higuain. When Higuain came to Juventus, he played as a supplement to Dybala, because Dybala was the 10, Higuain was the 9. Higuain had great games for Juve. He did not regress. It actually, in a sense, where his numbers were a lot more balanced with us than he was at Napoli, because Napoli, he was a 9 and that was it. That's all Sarri used him for. But at Juve, Allegri used him to have more intricate attacks. Because, like, for example, his first season with Juve, you have Dani Alves on the right, a really good Alexandro on the left, a Mandzukic on the left, Dybala behind you. That ball's getting spread around. Where at Napoli, it was give the ball to Higuain and hope he scores.
I'm also going to say as well, Higuain was a bit more emotional in a lot of senses. Yeah, you're probably right with Allegri not being able to coach strikers. He's more hands-off at the attack. That's been one of his criticisms, that he doesn't really give the instructions. He wants those mature players that are able to make those decisions themselves. So again, yes, it goes back to that IQ, and does Vlahovic have that IQ? And you can say that he probably does. That's one of the parts of the game that he's missing right now. So slot in Lukaku for Vlahovic, just going off the numbers. I mean, if you're playing Football Manager, the biggest difference is the 7 or 8 year age gap, essentially. That's the big thing. But at the same time, we're trying to make, I mean, if we make $50 million, that's what I'm saying. You can make $50 million and you still have Chiesa and Moisey, and you even got Milik in there still. You have the young guys to build the team around. It kind of just makes sense. It's a Conte move, and it might work. Go for the old. Actually, no, that's a lie, because Conte would make this move in another 5 years.
Yeah, because I think Keane is your future striker, in my opinion.
Moisey. Okay, now I'm going to coin this. I've been wanting to say it for a while. We'll make the t-shirts if it turns out. If Moisey stays, let's see if he stays first, because anything could happen. But his initials are MK. And for any of you potheads out there, MK Ultra. One of the OG strains. So that's going to be the new thing. Moisey's going to be MK Ultra. I'm coining it. Done. We're going with it. You down?
100%.
All right. Chat, let me know what you think. Rolling with the MK Ultra from here on out. And Jeff saying, yeah, maturity is what Dusan needs to grow on. And Vlad with his obligatory late entrance to the stream. Welcome in. Anytime. I mean, that's just how we roll. It's a live stream. You just slide in, slide out. Dash, you making noises. He's holding, or not noises, faces. He was making faces. If you're just listening in. Yeah, he was yawning. He was trying to hold it back, and I was just staring at him.
I was like, oh, shit.
Made it real awkward there.
I did. I made it very awkward.
That gives you an excuse to actually watch the screen once in a while if you don't. I don't know. Does anybody actually... People watch us? I wonder. That'd be a good thing to ask you guys.
I'm sure people watch us.
Yeah, like all these images and stuff, or how many people just like listen in? I wonder what the ratio would be, because there's no real stat on that, right?
No, YouTube doesn't really track that.
It's too bad. I'd love to know that one. Because really, I could be sitting here naked and loving life and nobody know. All right. Well, on that note, so nothing's really popped up. The news kind of just died off completely.
Yeah, it has. It kind of like, because it was going hot, and then I was like, Dave, I think we might need to hop on because this might actually go through.
No,
but
and now I have here, even in the next few days. I mean, whatever. Next few days. By the end of the week, I heard somebody early on in this whole saga today that it's kind of like by the end of the week idea. So that seems reasonable to me.
Dave says, I always watch if I'm not at the gym.
And then when he's at the gym, he's watching himself.
I want you, as you're in the middle of your bench press, just to watch me and Dave talk, just as you're hitting your PR.
Okay, my biggest complaint about Dusan is that he's an 80 million striker who's not able to adapt to different play styles. That's exactly what we just said. This is what you get for sliding in lanes. Okay.
I know, but we still love you, Vlad. Vlad, you are a friend. I love you.
Yeah, and he says for that money, you should be able to perform under every coach and under every tactic.
That's it. I'm done. Don't need to say anything else. We're good.
I will caveat, though, to the fact that we're the idiots that spent the money.
I'm dead serious. My dad, 55-year-old Papa Dash, says the same exact thing. He's like, this guy needs to be able to do stuff if he is worth that much money.
But
If
he's
you-
not. I think that's the point, right? He's
I
not.
know. It's just the thing is like I said earlier, it's like, what are we paying for? The expansion pass for his right leg? Are we paying for, seasonal pass for him to get like a right-footed shot, a header, and then like season? It's like Call of Duty. It's like a Call of Duty skin. Buy the Dusan skin that he can actually shoot with his right foot with. Buy the Dusan skin that he can actually kick and finish. Like,
You see that superhero crap now? They're trying to push for.
yeah, the boys.
Oh
I can't believe they
man,
did. That's how Call
that's
of Duty
corny.
is so desperate.
I don't care. I don't care, guys. I know Frankie put up. I think a Viali one, but because it was Viali, this whole superhero stuff. You gotta dress old soccer players up in capes now. Like, come on, no. Let's stop this tomfoolery.
I don't know if you saw it, but I think we'll end on this, but because it's actually something fun and something actually quite exciting. So EAFC 24, right, has released that in career mode, you can hire assistant coaches.
Oh, that is actually kind of cool.
So like you can hire a coach for your midfield, you can hire a coach for your defense, you can hire a coach for your strikers. And also I posted in our Discord, Allegri's face scan was done, and he does not look like a Walmart version of Vladimir Putin. He looks like Massimiliano Allegri on shrooms. You know what?
I don't know which one was worse, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
this new one is higher res.
If you guys go on Bepe's Instagram, he has all the images, but holy shit.
Yeah, it's bad.
Holy smokes. Like, they got his face right. They just fucked up his eyes.
Remember in the 2000s in the EA games how you can put a picture of your own face in and you can put like the dots around your eyes and all your little features, and you can spend an hour like mapping your face out. And then when you actually got into the game, you just look like this, like, was it that painting with the swirls? The swirly dude painting. Van Gogh. It looks like a Van Gogh thing.
Yeah. Like,
but yeah, he looks a little gruffier too. A little more Slavic in a sense. If that makes sense.
Oh my goodness.
Like he cooks rings of sausages on an open-fired pit for dinner. Kind of gruffiness.
Oh my goodness.
Jeff, you better jump in on that one. I know you love that shit. And he's saying here,
Allegri looks like a Florida man on bath salts, making love to a hot shit woman on crack. That is way too descriptive.
That's
Do you speak from experience, my good sir? Have you seen something where, there's a joke? There's actually a running joke that someone taught me this last week. If you type in Florida man and then your birthday, you'll find a news article. Like,
okay,
there'll be
Florida
a news
man.
article.
I'm doing this.
You don't need to do the year, just the date.
Florida man, July. I don't want to say when my birthday is, but okay. This is okay. No, I pulled a gun and then tripped. That wasn't that great.
All right, let me do mine.
I said, what do you mean? You sell slabs? What do you mean you sell? My buddy from Macedonia is always showing me pictures of coils of meat on an open fire.
All right.
Constantly.
So, I got mine. So, on Dash's birthday, Florida man jailed after woman found with hatchet wound.
Oh, see, there you go. You got a hatchet. I just got a guy running from the cops that trips.
And then the other one, Tampa police have arrested a 69-year-old Florida man for drug dealing and drug use. So I've got hatchet man and drug dealers.
Still better. You get two, and they're both better. I've seen a man on fentanyl talking to a light post. No crap. No, I mean, I can believe
it. I mean, I see that in Detroit. Come on, man.
You can talk to anything you want. When you're on that kind of stuff, man, the world lights up. Oh, okay. Well, good thing we can't get demonetized at this point.
Lol.
woman. Yeah, okay. This died off. Beppe is probably going to drone on about the exact same things we just did.
Yeah, you guys had there's like a 30-minute stream that Ollie did earlier. So
Literally, does
Yeah.
anybody care?
no,
Okay,
nobody cared.
okay. What's he say? I got accepted for sports management study from October on. Nice. Sweet.
Are
Nice,
you
congrats.
saying that you're going to be the new sporting director of a team, and then you're going to hire me and Dave as your PR guys?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. Manage a team. Okay, I think it's time for the music. It's time for the music. All right, here's the music.
Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this emergency live stream of Lukaku and Dusan. Hey guys, again, we're not algorithm, so share this to your friends, your cats, your dogs, your neighbors, your friends. Probably not to your mom, because your mom will probably question you. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like the video, and we will catch you in. If there's any more breaking news, I'll do something. And Rabio's mom.
You said mom.
Not in that order. But anyways, Dave.
Good night.
Sign her off.